Week 17, waiver wire rankings. Let's break it all down. Final week. Okay, we may not even do a week 18 waiver wire. We might talk about it anytime someone calls into the show. We're preparing for 2025 in week 18 more than anything. Okay, we'll talk about some stuff. We'll do playoff implication stuff. But in week 18, you play week 18, you should be ashamed of yourself. Your mom's ashamed of you. Your mom's ashamed of your commissioner, that's for sure. But week 17 is important. It's vital. Some of you have injuries. Some of you need to know what to do. Do you pick up a player? Are you worried about Jacobs? Are you worried about Kendre Miller? Might be one of your players right now with players going down, being down and out, being down bad with injuries or whatever. We'll break it all down. Who is on the waiver wire, if anybody? And then we're also going to take phone calls, answer super chats, and go over this absolute blowout game, 34-0 Packers lambasting of the New Orleans Saints, which we knew was going to happen. You know, in their backyard. They're playing catch in their own snowy backyard. They went up 21-0 immediately, and then Jacobs comes out. All the starters essentially get dialed back, and that was horrible because they're preparing for the playoffs. They know that the Saints, with no quarterback in the Green Bay Packers' backyard, weather they know, freezing tundra that they know and love and know how to play in. Not the Saints. They knew they could dial everything back. That was a very, very bad situation for Josh Jacobs owners. You were hoping for at least some sort of competitive game up till halftime or something, but they couldn't do anything. They couldn't move the ball. This is why Kendre Miller was a total a void. Given that this game script was going to be out of hand immediately. And then he had to do what? Get everything in the receiving department. We'll break it all down and more. The Fantasy Football Show, Week 17, pre-Week 17 show, Week 17 waiver show, Week 16 Monday Night Football reaction show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks, live after games, live all the time. It's easier to list when we're not live, right? Here is the stat box score Bobby box right here. Jordan Love, 182-1. You know, there's a lot of people that came at me for the Penix Jr. call this week, which I don't regret. People need to stop with the Smitty. It was easy and obvious to see he was a rookie. It was his first start. JD5, stop. Just stop. It was phenomenal. Everybody said how good Penix looked. He's going to be absolutely fantastic, look great. There were some weird things that happened in that game. But for the most part, any dilemma anybody had, it was Penix Jr. versus Jordan Love. Penix Jr. versus Aaron Rodgers. Penix Jr. versus Tua Tagovailoa. We're talking about all quarterbacks that dropped one touchdown and very similar yardage. It was barely a difference. It was a 6-point difference, 7-8 point difference in some cases. The biggest hit people took was Jalen Hurts getting concussed. That was the big blow to week 16 for a lot of people, but hopefully people still delivered and have people step up. Man, I think, coming out of this game, what disappointment, we have on our face right now with Jacobs having 13 carries, starts off hot, looks absolutely unbelievable, runs the ball tough, gets in the end zone, 69 yards and a touchdown, and then all of a sudden Emmanuel Wilson gets work, 11 for 52 and a touchdown. They even had Chris Brooks running a touchdown, 23 yards on the ground. Chris Brooks caught a pass as well. Emmanuel Wilson caught a pass as well. Josh Jacobs caught 4 for 38. At the end of the day, with the 38 yards and the 4 receptions, Jacobs did pretty well. It wasn't like a horrible game, but just watching the running game thrive in these conditions with the game script and not being able to partake in 30 plus points, half of them going to Jacobs, whatever. When you score 3 touchdowns on the ground, you run the hell out of the ball in the cold weather. It just sucked. It sucked to see it happen on semifinal week. Nothing at all to look at on this left side of the fence. Look at the Saints box score. This is embarrassing. 1 INT, 153, 15 for 30 for Rattler. Rattler was the leading rusher with 28 yards. Kendre Miller wasn't even second in rushing yards. He was third. 8 carries for 15 yards, 1.9 a pop. This guy should have been cut. The Saints talked about it all year. Like, you can't be on this team if you can't stay healthy. You can't be on this team if you can't learn the playbook. This is why it was a horrible start this week with the weather and the track record and all. The thing that people wanted out of Kendre Miller was, hey, Smitty, I need something. I found a starter. I want to will this thing to happen. Kendre Miller is going to go crazy. Why? Because you need it. Not because he can do it. Not because he has the skill set. Not because he has the game script. Not because he has the offense. Not because he has a good quarterback. There's nothing going for Kendre Miller. Zero. He had the, like, even if you started him and you were in dire straits, look back on this as a learning lesson in terms of the game script, right? The game script. Everything about this screams stay away for Kendre Miller. They were going to be down. They're playing in the Green Bay backyard. You know, there was nothing about this that was attractive. We got a lot to talk about in terms of Charbonnet. We got a lot to talk about in terms of Walker's potential availability. Garendo might be back this week. We got to look at waivers on that. There's so much we got to get into. We got the potential draft order for the 2025 NFL draft. If things ended today, we got that right here. The Raiders, who are thought to want Shedeur Sanders, are way down at 6 right here. They're going to have to make a trade to move up. And teams like the Cardinals that maybe have no shot at getting Shedeur or any of the top, 2-3 QBs could move up because these teams want to get out of this spot, the 2 and the 3. Jaguars and New England have their quarterbacks. They want nothing to do with the 2 pick. So whoever lands in the 2 pick, if it's not the Raiders, will be susceptible to trading it. And I hope the Cardinals step up. Trade Kyler Murray to someone else. Bring in Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders and let MHJ flourish. We'll talk more about the NFL draft tonight too. Phone calls will be had. Super chats will be taken. Not much to talk about on that game. We might as well just move on. It was a horrible, horrible fantasy football outing for the most part. My 13-1 season ended. I needed Jacobs for 25. I'm sorry, Professor Stroke. He did fairly damn well considering how little they used him. It just sucks to watch 34 points get racked up. It was kind of like the Penix Jr. thing. 34 points, I think, as well. And Penix Jr. couldn't get a touchdown. He couldn't get anybody to catch the ball. But they still ran well. They still threw well, even outside of, touchdown opportunities. I mean, Penix was on the money, throwing missiles all over the field. Anybody that thinks he did bad because he didn't score touchdowns doesn't know football and didn't watch the game. They're a box score Bobby. First time doing Dynasty, making it to the championship. Derek, appreciate your super chat and congrats on that, my boy. Congrats on that. Good work, my friend. More Dynasty to come. Make sure you're subscribed to the Dynasty channel, which that link is in the description. It's also youtube.com/Dynasty Fantasy Football. Smitty, I'm in a weird league that championship week is this week, and I won thanks to your JMO call. Absolutely fantastic. Bro.
Let him cook.
I love hearing that. JMO dropped 143, 5 receptions, 1 TD. Probably that and Higgins. Higgins didn't have as big of a game, but he had the touchdown. He had, probably 15, 16, whatever points he had. So congrats on this JMO call, bro. So good to hear. So good to hear, my boy. Totally smashed running back. That's another thing we told everybody. Wide receiver. Best ball's telling you to go wide receiver, and you want to carry that over into redraft, eh? Here's what we have to say about that. Running back, mother.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now.
Where's your mashed potatoes? Running back. Yeah, buddy. Running back, baby. Now, I can't guarantee that's going to be the approach this year. It is test, it is measure, it's take the temperature, it's try and figure out what is the best course of action given the ADP and where players will fall. who's risky, who's not. Are players at the running back position aging out and we want to stay away from a lot more of them? Or are we saying let's go consume them because there's less of them now? Or are there more of them and now we can go wide receiver shopping and get some RBs later? There's a whole different process that goes into 2025 that went into 2024. So we're not just cementing in we're a running back community. Running back was last year's approach, last year's cup of tea. And that's how this thing is going to go for this year too. We're gonna dive into ADP, get a feel for everything, sink our teeth in, take the temperature, then we'll know what in the hell we need to do. Smitty, this is thank you, Max. Appreciate you dropping that super chat, my boy. Max to the mother freaking moon. All right, let's get over to the waiver wire board. Travis, if you want to dial in, if Travis is even out there. If not, I can man it, no problem. But we're going to go ahead and attack the waiver wire board. I think I got most of it just up real quickly, just with a few changes. But if you guys see anything that you think needs to be added, Max, I'm going to get to your super chat after I get through this real quickly. Thank you, Max. Any other super chats that come in, I'll get to it in just 1 second. But let's dig into this waiver wire board for week number 17. Spears and Ford, make sure they're not available in your league. I'll have Travis look up the availability of Spears and Ford in the average league and see what their percentage of availability is. Benson, Bigsby, Madison, Abdullah, Justice Hill got hurt in this one, so we'll have to monitor Justice Hill. Travis, what's the availability of Spears and Ford in the average league? Like, what's the average percentage on that?
Spears and Ford, yeah.
And yeah, Ford was, someone said, great call on Ford, Smitty. Ford was absolutely one of our biggest sleeper candidates at the running back position at the start of the year. He served us well, just like Mason served us well for a period of time, and you got to let him go. But some things you let go, and they come right back. And Jerome Ford came right back.
Let him cook.
Go ahead, Travis. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Spears is available in 44, and Ford is available in 21.
Let him cook.
So, kind of don't know if I'm going to leave Ford up on the board because 21, but it's championship week. I think I'm just going to caveat this thing and just say, look, it is what it is. You see Ford up here and it pisses you off because he's not available in your league, and Smitty, that's a grandma league. 21% is a big enough number that we're just going to let it ride. Ford is the top pickup of the week if he's there. Spears is the top running back pickup of the week if he's there. Doesn't even matter if Pollard's playing. They run the man. They throw to him. He's absolutely all over the field. He scores touchdowns. He's electric, and he does this at the end of the year. I know we only had 2 years to look at this, but he did it last year, kind of, if I remember correctly. He just kind of had some spikes. And then this year, he looks like he's going to finish strong. Benson, we got to monitor James Conner. What's the latest on James Conner, Travis? Do you have that in front of you right now, just if you don't mind? And Rock Out, what's up, my boy?
Yeah.
Rock Out, what are you doing? What you got?
Yeah.
Real quickly.
Would you pick up Schultz or Conquay?
A Conquay? Who the hell's a Conquay?
Okonkwo.
You guys and your names, bro. It cracks me up. I feel like, is this the only? I feel like there's just a group of you guys on the phone line. I don't even know if the rest of the live stream chat even does this, or everybody does this, or if it's just 3 or 4 of you on the phone line. McMiller, we had people calling Kendre Miller McMiller last night. And we got a Conquay. A Conquay. It is a tough name though, a Conquo. I'm going to go Schultz, and Travis asked me this question last night. And with Tank Dell out, with Schultz scoring a touchdown, I believe this week, right? Schultz goes straight to the top of the tight end waiver board entirely. I think Kraft having a decent day today with a totally dialed back offense makes me think Kraft is number 2. Muth is still a consideration, although Pickens will be back this week, it sounds like. Strange is kind of a strange play. Kincaid, also a strange play. Hunter Henry, that's okay. Okonkwo is right there. He's right there with Henry and Strange and Gray and Kraft. But I think Schultz is the top pickup of the week given the vacancy of target share over in Houston. All right, hang tight, Rock Out. Travis, what was the answer?
Would you still do it until I got Collins?
What? Oh, would you still do that if you have Collins? Yeah. I'm not gonna let that influence anything. All right, hang tight, rock out. We got to get through the waiver wire. Go ahead, Travis.
So, on James Conner, they said it looked like there might have been like a brief hyperextension, nothing too serious. And today, Gannon said, "We'll see how it goes throughout the week. I know he wants to play." So a little bit up in the air. It's not like a serious injury, but this week is kind of gotta play it by ear.
Yeah.
So Benson is definitely someone you're going to want to have.
Yeah, and
even if you don't have Connor.
And Benson, we got to check on his status. I think he even got a little bit banged up. So you've got Michael Carter, right?
That's he was out Sunday. Yeah, Michael Carter is going to be the big pickup.
Yeah, I just wonder if Benson will come back though. You know, like Benson's injured, but I think is one of those things where if they need him, he's going to be back. But we'll see. I'll monitor Trey Benson. Trey Benson's last update was the ankle, won't play week 16. I don't think it's anything crazy, but we'll have to see. If not, Michael Carter would be next man up. DJ Dallas, I believe.
Carter got 5 targets too. So
yeah, so we'll put
every touch and 5 targets after Connor left.
Yeah, we'll probably have to move. Let's move. Let's move Kendra. Who cares about Kendra McMiller? I'm telling you, he's trash. I'm moving him down. Corum, look, without Corum, literally you can move off the board right now because you got 1 week. You're not going to put him in, because he's not starting. So he's pretty much done. I'm going to leave him here out of respect because he's been a crafty hold all year long. Thank God we never had to use him. Kyron Williams will never stay healthy, Smitty. He's returning kicks. Like what? How is he ever going to stay healthy?
Corum was just going to take the job from him.
All right,
so taking the job from him
with 1 week.
Season, so.
Yeah, with the 1 week left, Corum goes down to the bottom just out of respect. We'll keep him on the board. Patrick Taylor, who the hell is that? I don't think Shanahan even knows his name. Garendo, can you look up Garendo real quick? Is Garendo available in a weird number of leagues and we don't know about it? Because he was injured, so people probably cut him. Let's see.
Yeah, he's available in 26% now. People cut him.
Doggy. I mean, maybe. Look, it's hard to trust the Niners line right now because they got everybody injured.
Does he's practice?
Yeah.
He's going to practice Thursday.
I got it on good authority. He's going to play this week. So, the question would be, is he an equal? Let me move Patrick Taylor down, Miller up, Tucker above him because Patrick Taylor's nothing right now. I mean, you could keep moving him down. Tucker, Miller, Justice Hill. Can you look up Justice Hill's injury status real quickly? So Benson's right here if he comes back. To be honest with you, is Garendo better than Spears this week if Garendo's starting? They're going to want to test out the wheels and see what they got. You know what I mean? Like in the whole offensive line being banged up sucks, but like I said on the APM show, Garendo's got the speed to kind of compensate for a bad offensive line in a way and pop one on the outside. I kind of feel like they're very close.
Spears has the matchup, but
thank you, Jake.
Garendo will be getting the touches.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you. Let's put Garendo and Ford side by side.
Justice Hill is in the concussion protocol. He didn't practice today.
Okay.
So
all right. So
we're see.
How's Mitchell looking for this week? Is he going to be next man up, or is there injury news on him now? Spears.
He's just inactive, but he's healthy.
Okay,
he's a healthy scratch, so he'd be all right. And
okay,
Rasheen Ali has been active over him, but
Ali. Chat. Do you guys like Ali or Mitchell more? I don't know. Mitchell's not even getting work. But then again,
no, that's a tough one. Well, you know what, Ali is he's a special teams guy, so that could change if Mitchell gets in. He could start taking care.
Yeah, I think it changes to like how when somebody gets hurt, oftentimes everyone thinks, oh, the guy that's in there on third downs is taking over. And I'm not saying that Ali's on third downs, but then the injury happens, and then it's a different pecking order just because of the special teams factor. Like a lot of third down backs they're contributing on special teams, and that's why they appear to be the backup. But then something happens. Okay, so we're gonna put Gus above Mitchell though. That's for sure. Okay, so Gus Bus, he's decent. Algier, he's decent. You need a touchdown. You need 8 points. Algier, Gus, Jalen Warren, assuming he plays and he's healthy and all that. Those guys are solid. You could even put Jalen Warren above those guys, but there's definitely a reason to think he could vanish. Abdullah, Madison, those are pretty decent plays, I suppose. Bigsby's a really solid pickup right now, considering we're on the final week of fantasy, and if he's out there, that's fantastic. Spears, Garendo, Ford. Understand that Garendo's available in an odd amount of leagues because people cut him thinking he'd never come back and play football again this season. He is practicing this week. I have it on good authority that he's expected to play. And I also have it on good authority that they want to test out the merchandise for next year to know how much they need to invest in a running back. And understand something. Kyle Shanahan will draft at least one running back no matter what. He does that. But knowing how good Garendo is, testing him out this final week or two, will give Shanahan the idea and understanding of where he needs to strike, how early he needs to grab an RB, because if Garendo's the real deal, they plan on bringing Jordan Mason back. Garendo's future is very cloudy because he'll be third in the pecking order walking into week one, assuming Christian McCaffrey is going to play week one. No one's saying McCaffrey is going to hold his value or be worth a draft selection, but he will be back to muddy up the waters in San Francisco. And Jordan Mason being put on IR, not being able to showcase his skills in the final final quarter of the season, was a Kyle Shanahan maneuver so that teams wouldn't see him explode and produce more, and then he'd get a big offer, and he's a restricted free agent, and the Niners have to match any offer that comes their way for Jordan Mason. That's why Shanahan strategically put Jordan Mason on IR. Jordan Mason should be back because of that maneuver, because he'll be cheaper, they'll retain him. Maybe not. Garendo will be third in the pecking order, meaning that drafting a running back is not going to be as urgent this year, even though Shanahan will draft one. But I do believe Garendo will be used and utilized a ton. So Garendo, Ford, Spears, and Bigsby, in my opinion, assuming Benson doesn't play, are the top 4 running back plays this week off the waiver wire board as it looks right now. Yeah. Benson's in the mix with
Sorry, I was just going to say Bigsby's available in like 50% of leagues or something. So
yeah, and if Benson does play and we don't know, he's right there with Spears and Bigsby. I don't think he's above Garendo or Ford or even level with Garendo or Ford, but Benson will be equal to Spears and Bigsby if he's starting, maybe even a tad above them potentially. On the wide receiver front, now, did I miss anybody at RB, Travis, and chat? And then Travis and Rockout, if you guys can monitor the chat, and if anybody throws out. Oh, Charbonnet. Can you look up Charbonnet? There's no way. There's no way. Yep. There's no way.
He's available in 26% of leagues.
What in the...
Take a big lap.
What the heck?
We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come back.
What in that? Now I got to redo the whole damn board. Are we kidding?
That's wild.
Are we kidding? Would you say 20 what?
26% of Yahoo leagues. I mean, I know Sleeper's a little different, but
what are those Yahoos? What are those Yahoos doing over there, bro? Jeez. What did you say Sleeper was? What's the percentage? That's unbelievable.
Let me see, I got it right here. In Sleeper, he's owned in. Oh, he's available in 22% of Sleeper leagues.
Okay. Well, we got to move all these deadbeats down. Hold on. These deadbeat
Everybody
Donnies.
on a rock.
All right, deadbeats, line up. Deadbeat Donnies. Mitchell, you're a deadbeat. Get out of here. Warren, you're okay. Algier, Gus Bus. Davis is just hard and unpredictable, to trust. But Benson, Abdullah, get down there, Abdullah. Madison, get down. Bigsby, Spears, Ford, Garendo, Sharps. Okay, guys, this is getting weird up in here. I got all these crowns, these top pickups of the week.
What about Kareem Hunt? What about Green Hunt?
Yeah. Hold on. Let's take one.
Available.
Let's do one at a time.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Let's get to that in a second. Remind me. We all have all these crowned running back spots, but we got to put Sharps number 1 if he plays. The caveat is we don't know if he's starting, because Walker is. There was like a projected walkthrough today, so we have no clue what. But my guess is that Walker's not going to play. That's my early guess. So we're going to go Sharps. We'll just give him this green color. It's close enough. We're going to go Sharps number 1 with the explained caveat that if he's not starting, he's not this high. But Sharps is the top pickup of the mother flipping week if available, and he's available in enough leagues that even my mom knows this. She's out there slaving meatloaf and Christmas cookies in the, and I'm in the basement here. And she literally knows. I don't really live with my mom. If anybody really didn't pick up on that, but Sharps is like even Ma and Grandma know that this guy shouldn't be left on waivers. If anything, just to prevent your opponent from having a top 5 running back instantly. Like if you leave Sharps out there and this happens, like even if I didn't know, right? I'm walking into week 16, this week we just played, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm not dropping Sharps and just leaving him out there for my opponent to just say, oh, Walker isn't quite where he needs to be. Let me just grab that top 5 running back and put it on my roster. Now, there's a chance he doesn't do anything. He barely got used. And with the short week too, right? Like Thomas just alluded to. That game is Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
Walker ain't playing, man. That's my guess. I don't see how Walker plays. So. Short week that's a great point, Thomas. I didn't even get to that point yet. Week 17. I got to put the schedule back up. Week 17. Okay, we got the 2. That's the Thursday game. We got the 2 Wednesday games too. So Seattle Bears, Bears game. Sharps to the moon. In fact, we got breaking news here on a drone situation.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk.
Warning: what you're about to see might be a little bit scary. You might want to turn away if you're squeamish, but this footage has been sent to us from a local Phoenix resident. Local authorities are trying to figure out what the sign means.
Ma, get that meatloaf.
Sharp season. Unclear as to what that
a big piece of meatloaf, Ma.
Or if that's some sort of warning. And it's still undetermined where these flying objects are deriving from.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk.
Pop open a nice bottle of Chardonnay.
A nice bottle of Chardonnay with that meatloaf, Ma. Get that meatloaf, the ketchup out. All right. Okay, so did I miss a running back? Do I have to redo this board again?
Just
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt was the only other guy. He's available in like 42, 44% of leagues.
I'm gonna move.
I know it's a tougher situation when Pacheco back, but
I'm gonna move Hill over there.
What was it, 14, 15 points?
He's definitely worthy of a start if you're in like dire straits and you're like, you're talking about Kendrick Miller.
He was better than Pacheco, so.
Yeah, he's definitely. Pacheco and him are both worth a start if you're like in a weird spot. Like that's a pretty safe play to get like 8 points or something. Go Hunt or Pacheco. So that's a good call. Anybody else view anything? I like doing Waiver Wire live. If anybody's new to this show right now and they're like, what in the hell is he doing? Didn't he? I like doing it live. Because you see my process. Do you really want me to just like order it and then just like, even if I'm feeling a different vibe when I'm delivering it, I'm just sticking to my Excel sheet Eric list? I already ordered it. Like I'm changing my mind in front of you. We're missing players in front of you. This is real life. Okay, let's move on to wide receivers. I have Hollywood Brown, Worthy, and McMillan. According to my calculations, Hollywood Brown is available in, it says 34% owned. So he's available in a freaking
like
boatload.
high 60s.
Jeez. And then I imagine Worthy's still going to be available in at least, I would say 25 to 30%. Let's see. 20%.
26% Yahoo.
Okay. And then McMillan, who's a touchdown machine at this point, 4 touchdowns in 2 games, right? Or, no, I'm sorry, 4 touchdowns in 3 games. 4 touchdowns for 3 games. McMillan, aka McMiller. I don't know which one we're calling McMiller, but McMillan is available in 50% of leagues. Woo! And I don't know if there's anybody else I'm missing or totally ranked too low. I don't think so, based on what I looked at. I think, Wicks scored today, so everyone's going to say Wicks, but, Dobbs scored twice last week, and, we moved him up, and now look, he's down in the middle. What do we...
Thielen on there.
Thielen's there. I'm not feeling Thielen, but he's there. Vele's on there. Dobbs, Watson, Adunze, Coker, Bateman's like 3rd or 4th. Coker's like 5th or 6th. Some might say Quentin Johnston.
Downs had a good game. They're facing the Giants this week.
Yeah, Downs is a good one. I'm going to move Downs up. Downs is a good one. Let's leave. Downs. I don't think I would start. I mean, Quentin Johnson is not somebody I would pick up and even come close to using, guys. But, you could, I guess, look at it. But Downs, Austin, Ray. I'm not saying that he doesn't belong on here over a couple of the other names that are on here. Like MVS didn't even play tonight. I mean, maybe he's, worth nothing. Kind of ignore the lower part of the board. I could take everybody off like Naylor and Mechie. And actually, is Mechie healthy? Wonder if he gets like a huge uptick. Is he even healthy?
Yeah, he practiced in full, so he didn't play Saturday, but he practiced in full today.
He might be a crafty little pickup given the situation.
Yeah.
I'll put him up here a little bit. Ray, Akine, Yoshi Voss is still nice. Quentin Johnston, I don't know. Can't catch a cold, bro. Okay, so does anybody see anybody that I'm missing, like, or is just blatantly in the wrong spot? Not preference type, Shiat. This is my ranking here. This is kind of how I view what I see in front of me. So if I'm missing something, or you don't think I see something appropriate, like Washington, I don't know. League Washington, what did he even do this week? Let me see. Malik. He had 3
for 28.
Yeah, whatever. He's fine. He's fine where he is. Mechie, I like Mechie more than I like Washington.
With what did Coker do? Yeah, Coker did nothing again.
Yeah, but his big game, I think.
Thielen's got to be higher than Coker. Well, I guess they're about the same. So
we'll do that. We'll put Thielen above Coker. We'll put Adunze down. I still like Adunze's ability as long as he's playing and healthy, but his situation is still, crap. And it's so funny how people don't understand the pattern right now of Caleb Williams. Like,
I know.
It's 3 and out. Maybe they get a first down, then they punt, and it's just nothing. He's absolutely nothing for the first half of the game. And the only way he scores anything is in garbage time or in prevent after the game's over and he's scrambling around making chaos. He cannot play on script. He cannot play in the pocket. He has to be running, and it's not gonna translate. You can't do everything outside the pocket. You can't. It's not working with Kyler. Kyler scrambles outside the pocket. Why? Because he can't see over the line. He's tricking everybody. Everybody thinks Kyler Murray is good. He's not. And people figure him out really quickly over the course of a season. Kyler hates getting hit. He's a big wuss about that. And he can't play inside the pocket. That's the same thing that's happening with Caleb. Caleb cannot do anything unless he's running around for his life. And that's how he played. Caleb and Stroud cry too easily. E111 says, look, I don't know if people are taking my comments offensively earlier, but I stand by it. I stand by it. I said what I said. I don't think your quarterback should be bawling uncontrollably while he's on the field. I'm not saying he can't cry over, something happening in his personal life, or even if he wins a Super Bowl and he's hugging the trophy and he just has, he's crying. I don't care if he has tears in his eyes when Tank Dell gets injured. I said what I said. I don't feel that Stroud has that dog in him. When I see him on the field, this is not a commander-in-chief. This is a guy that's rattled, and he never bounced back. And I don't care what anybody says. You can call me callous. It has nothing to do with... just because I don't bawl on the field like a baby when my best friend or someone goes down with a knee, he didn't pass away on the field. He injured his knee. It's a sport. It's part of the game. I'm not saying it's not devastating, but do you think Joe Burrow would have needed to bear hug T. Higgins and cry in his shoulder? I mean, call me callous. Call me whatever you want. I'm just speaking the truth. A lot of people walk around this on eggshells. Just like I said earlier on the 8 p.m. show, like the Hamlin situation. Everybody coming in. I mean, even some of that, I don't want to put any names out there, but some of the very biggest names in the industry went live, and the next day they're like, this doesn't matter. Fantasy's nothing. This is just a frivolous game. It's meaningless. This is real life right here. And I'm sitting here going, what do we come to in this world where we can't chew gum and walk at the same time? What world are we living in when I've got to come out here and say, my job's meaningless because a man got hurt on the field? Even if he passed away for a minute, doesn't make my job meaningless or frivolous. And I can still talk about football and tell my followers prayers up. We did a whole hour dedication, prayers up. Let's make sure, oh my God, let's make sure he's okay. We absolutely handled that with a gentle touch. But if you think I'm not going live 2 hours later at midnight because you think my job is meaningless, or all of your underdog bets are meaningless when they canceled the game and it's not a big deal, and all the people that had that Buffalo Bills Cincinnati game that got screwed because they didn't play it, I'm just speaking the truth. I'm speaking what other people are afraid to say out loud. I'm allowed to chew gum and walk at the same time. And I'm also allowed to say that I think that crying on the field, I just don't understand why everybody's getting so mad at me. It's mostly in DMs and comments, but not so much in the live stream. But because I say that Stroud feels rattled, and that was evidence of that. It's not to say that right there makes him bad or anything like that, or a bad quarterback, and it has nothing to do with being a human being. But when my quarterback can't control himself or compose himself under a stressful situation, that's like being in the foxhole with your command. No one is questioning Stroud's humility. Yeah, no one's questioning Stroud's heart. No, I'm not trying to question anybody that doesn't cry's heart. Like, if you think I don't care about somebody that gets hurt in the middle of a game that's on my team, my best friend, because I don't cry, and literally, like, he's on the sideline just like crying and holding his teammates. I just, like, how do you go to war with someone in a foxhole when you're like, hey, Sarge, what are we doing? Yeah. We climbing over this hill or what? And he's like, like, what do you, like, that's all I'm saying. I don't know why this is getting so, like, twisted too.
That's the biggest thing, is like, the whole team looking at him, acting like that and being like, well, this guy, he doesn't have it together at all. How are we going to, come back in the game? How are we going to regroup from this? The whole team right away.
Yeah, I think the problem with
any type of leader or boss or anything.
The problem with this topic is that people think I'm saying that crying, they're saying crying makes you human. I saw that comment, and I'm not disagreeing with that comment. Or crying just shows you care. Like, that was his best friend. Those are some of the most common comments I get at my stance. And I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I'm not saying that crying isn't, an acceptable form of reaction when your best friend gets his knee tore up. But the man didn't pass away on the field. Do you know how many other people get injured every single week? Like, players tear themselves up all the time. Like Joe Burrow wouldn't have cried. And look, if Joe Burrow shed a tear, if Jamar Chase, I'd shed a tear. If Jamar Chase went down, I think we'd all be bear hugging each other, crying like crazy. But we're also not commanding, the team and going back out on their field. If Joe Burrow had a tear go down and he was like pacing, his arms were crossed, and they were, it wasn't like they're carting him off the field and he wasn't moving, and it wasn't like a spinal issue. It was his knee, which is jacked up. I tore my knees up over and over. Do you know that my intramural basketball team, no one shed a tear when I tore my ACL, my MCL, my LCL, and my meniscus? There wasn't a single teammate on my intramural team that walked over. Or, I'm sorry, that was flag. That was the full contact flag football league, not basketball. Sorry, not one of my teammates shed a tear or had to hug their teammate. And we're all good buddies. They patted me on the back, and they said Blue 32, and they sent Billy in motion literally like 2 minutes later. Did I judge them? No. Were they bad people? No. Anyway, where were we at? We're on the waiver wire show. Who am I missing from the wide receivers?
You got
Who?
Who did you say, Zacchaeus?
yeah.
Oh, Zacchaeus. Yeah,
From
Zacchaeus.
yeah, he had a good game. 5 for 70, touchdowns, 8 targets.
Yeah, he was all over the place. And the thing is, he looked good too. Yeah, the meniscus hurt too, All right, Zacchaeus, let's put him up here. That's a really good one. Where do we put him, above Dobbs and Watson?
Yeah, I mean, probably the same range as Watson.
Yeah, so he probably fits in there.
People hate not everybody, but there are people that hate my take on this topic, and I don't blame them, because I don't think they're understanding my angle really. They just assume I'm saying crying or showing emotions bad. Just like when I said Caleb crying in his mama's arms and weeping like a baby in the stands in front of everybody after a loss in college. Like, they think I'm saying you can't be sensitive, you can't be... I asked Miss Smitty what she thought. She's like, yeah, it's weird. Miss Smitty goes, it's not like he passed away, like on the field or something. Like that I could understand, like, in the game even. Like, what? But he tore his knee. Like, that sucks. It was a bad injury. I've torn both my knees. And I didn't ever once get the reaction from somebody, and they're good friends. The only time I've ever had someone react like that is when your boy Smitty got put in handcuffs in Tijuana, and I got thrown into the back of a Federale car with soldered on house bars onto an actual police car that was probably not even a real police car. And they took me and abducted me and took me into an alley. And I had 4 friends with me. One said, let's get out of here and leave him. We'll call his parents. Not a good friend. Don't talk to him anymore. The other guy cried like a baby, like a little girl. And I appreciated that. Like, this guy was crying. He ran down the alley, like they ran down the alley. The other guy was threatening the Federale, because that's just the way he was. He was angry. He was about to get himself in trouble. But that guy that cried, I considered him a really good friend. Like, that was nice. That was nice to feel. But guess what that guy's not doing? He's not leading the group out of there once we get, myself out of the car. He ain't leading nobody. That guy, we're carrying him on my back while he's sobbing and weeping for me. Appreciate him. Great friend, but that's not our leader. I'm just telling you. I'm just shooting it straight. That was scary. I haven't returned to Mexico since, never will. Cuánto cuesta? I was just, I had $100. My mom, your parents tell you something. I think I was 19 years old. I folded up a $100 bill or $250s or $100 bill, because my mom always said, you go down there, you better put $100, hide it in your wallet. You might need it because they're going to, tax you for this, tax you for that on the way out. So I had $100 tucked away in the bottom of my wallet, and I'm sitting there in the back like this, and I'm like, ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? And they drove off and, took me into an alley. And yeah, they were probably going to let me go for a sum of money, but they also have, something to where, like, if they can't get anything out of you, there's a certain amount they get if they bring you downtown, and then they process you, and then your parents have to come pay about $5,000, $2,000 to $5,000 to have an attorney, because there's no filing system in Tijuana's jail, and they walk down and manually find you, and they charge you $2,000 for that. So they get a kickback for that. So if they can't get anything out of you, they will take you away. Everyone's like, no, you just got to pay them. I'm so experienced with this. It's not as simple as that. Like, there is a risk involved. And I'm sitting there cuffed. I'm like, ¿Cuánto cuesta? ¿Cuánto cuesta? And he's like, $100. And I was like, yo tengo $100. I got it in my back pocket. I got it. Yo tengo. Mama. Oh, mama, gracias. So I gave him that. I gave him the $100. They uncuffed me. I'm in my leather jacket. My hair was strong and blonde back then. Sticking straight up. And we walk across the border at Tijuana. If anybody's ever been at the Tijuana border at California, it's confusing. There's like metal turnstiles. There's signs that are in Spanish. And they're not words I know, even though I knew a little then, I know a little now. And it's like, there's not even arrows. And we're like, do we go left or do we go right? And then one guy's like, I think we go left. And one guy's like, I think we go right. And the other guy's still crying like a baby. And we're like, okay, let's. And then the one guy, the aggressive yelling guy, he just goes through. And so we had to commit with him, right? Because once you go through the metal turnstile, it locks. And he goes through the turnstile and we're like, you idiot. So we go through, and as soon as we turn, it goes, bienvenidos Tijuana. It says, welcome to Tijuana. We're like, no. So we had to go back through, and I was scared to death that they were just going to grab me again. And so we had to pass right by him. We saw him sitting there in the corner. Whether they were real federales or not, we don't know. And so I'm walking, and I took my buddy's sweaty shirt he'd been wearing all night long, just dancing around, drinking at all these 10 bars. And it was a really different color shirt. And I just scraped that shirt on so that I had a different shirt on. And I just, as we walked right by him again. We went through the exit. And then I remember when we went through the exit, we were like telling the military guy, we're like, hey, those kids, we were telling on them like they were going to do something. Like, we were so naive. We thought that the military guy at the American side was going to be like, what happened? I'm going to go over there right now and take care of it. So we're like, sir, they just took us. Yeah, they just took me. They abducted me. They took me into the corner and they robbed me of $100 that my mom told me to put in my back pocket. And the guy was like, bro, he's like, you think we care? He goes, my buddy that works this post, he was here last week, went over there, got in a drunk bar fight. We'll never see him again. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, he got taken away. We don't know where he is. We can't get a hold of him. We can't find him. Our government's not going to do a single thing. The military's not going to do a single thing. I will never see him again. You think I care about your situation? And we're like, damn. That's when I decided. That's when I decided it's a little bit more than just paying off, a federale here or there when you get in the exact wrong situation. It was wild. It was a crazy situation. That was many years ago. But yeah, I consider myself a pretty tough guy, but like I don't really have the desire to go back to Tijuana. I'll fly into Mexico City maybe. But I ain't crossing that border no more. Because you got no control. You got unless you got $100 in your back pocket, then you got the world by the balls. All right, so wide receivers, we got Zacchaeus on here. This is the longest waiver wire show in the history of the channel. Okay, are we good on this wide receiver board?
I think so.
Like guys like Deontay Johnson, you're not going to play him yet. So, Kayshon Boutte had a good week, but I don't think you can play him.
Yeah, you're right. It might
I
not have
think
been the
that's about
actual real Federales. It might have been. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And that's true, and that's the other risk factor. Okay, so assuming I got the wide receivers correct, QBs, AR5, Knicks, I don't think we need to really look up the percentages. If AR5's out there, if Knicks is out there, Drake May's out there, Penix Jr.'s out there, Young is out there, Tua, those are good grabs. Even Caleb's an okay grab in the worst of situations. But if I had to, like, pick somebody, I would probably say, I know you guys are going to think I'm just doubling down, but I think Penix Jr. is going to have a day. The day we thought he was going to have, I think he's going to have it. But I think AR5, I want to put it right in the middle. AR5, Knicks, Penix Jr., Drake May, they're all very, very good plays. Drake May looked phenomenal considering Knicks can always play a 3-4 TD game. AR5 can always have 2 rushing touchdowns with a passing touchdown. And Penix Jr., risky play again. You're probably safer going AR5, Knicks, or May, no doubt. But if you can't get your hands on either one of those 3 quarterbacks, then Penix is better than probably A-Rod. He still is. I don't care what he did last week. He's probably still better than Caleb in my opinion. So go with your gut on the QB. It's a tough call. Tight end rankings. Tell me if there's anybody I'm missing. But Schultz is number 1. I think Kraft, with the limited play today with the starters, he did really well. He had like 3 for 60 or something like that tonight. So Muth, Strange, Gray, Henry, Kincaid. I think this is it. I think it's good. Likely probably needs to be moved up. I like Likely a lot. He's hit and miss, but he's been a guy who continues. Conquo's on there, yeah. Henry, Conquo, Kincaid, Fergie, Johnson, Strange. I think Likely he's definitely a hit or miss guy, but I very, very much still love Isaiah Likely. He can pop off at any moment. That's it. Anybody? Any final words or suggestions?
I think that's it.
Looks good.
Yeah, that's about it.
Screenshot it, guys. Smitty approved waiver wire. Pause the video, screenshot the video. I'll give you 2 seconds to do that, and then I'm going to move on from here. If you need to go back, you obviously can go back to 51 minutes and 43 seconds into the video to get your waiver wire screenshot. It'll also be on thefantasyfootballshow.com tonight or early tomorrow. This is a concluded waiver wire week 17 board. I'm going to hit the Smitty approve button. We'll move on to phone calls and super chat.
You've just been Smitty approved.
All right, let's see here. Let's go. Let me get rid of this. Week 17 waiver wire. Let me answer these super chats real quick, boys, and then I'll get back to the phone line here. We got Tyler dropping a $10 hauler. Tyler, nice work, bro. That's how you get back in my good graces. If Hurts is out, Stafford, Bryce Young, or Russ. Sorry, I understand he's emotional, but he's signed up to be a fool. To be a fool. A football player. How many... What's that say? He had eye surgery, so we're giving him the benefit of the doubt, Tyler, if I remember correctly. How many concoctions has Stevie?
Concussions?
Oh, yeah, a good one. You got the Dakota ring, bro?
Yeah, I learned from the chat.
Concoctions. How many concussions has Stevie Young had? Steve Young? Steve Young. Ziggy, how many concussions did Steve Young have?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
He doesn't remember. Ziggy doesn't remember. He's concussed himself because I beat him with the bat so many times when he doesn't listen. Okay, Steve Young had how many concussions? How many? 7? No? Let's see here. Steve Young. I don't know that there's like a... The thing is, they didn't like... They weren't even like counting them all back then.
Even Troy Aikman.
Okay, wow. Wait, hold on. New York Times. Steve Young's concussions omitted In the story, the Times says confidential data obtained shows more than 100 diagnosed concussions were left out of the league studies. Okay, I thought it was saying he had 100. I was like, whoa, bro. That would be a lot. Yeah, I don't think they have data on it. It's the problem. I think you're guessing. Yeah, they just didn't. They hit it all. You know what I mean? So like we don't even have like right now we have social media record of everything. You know, that's why Ziggy just said he can't help with that because he's been told not to. The NFL said don't say a word. Don't say a word, Ziggy. Thank you. Appreciate you. As far as Hurts, if Hurts is out, I probably go with the matchups. Let me look at the schedule for next week. That's a good question. I don't have the schedule up on screen, but you got the Rams. Where are the Rams at this week? Home or away?
They're home against Arizona.
Saturday. Yeah, home against Arizona. I'd probably lean Stafford. And then who is his other?
Russell Wilson's against Kansas City.
No, thank you.
And Young was the other one.
Yeah, Bryce Young. Carolina is at Tampa.
Against,
that could be okay.
Tampa.
I still think he's more of like exciting. I don't know if he's going to have as big of a fantasy day. I'm going to go Stafford. The Rams are hungry. They're playing well. I think. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. So I don't know how many concoctions, aka concussions, Steve Young's had. I imagine he doesn't remember. But I would say over 10. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I've had like 3 myself.
I mean, me too.
I've hit my head on like cement blocks so many times. Like as a kid, I was always waking up like 20 minutes into a just absolutely out cold from like knocking my head on a brick wall or something like that. As an older person, I even like when I got into my 20s, I don't think I ever had a concussion past like I think 17 or 16, but like at least three. Let's see here. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate your super chat. All right, let me get these other ones out of the way real quick, gentlemen. Hang tight for me. This one right here from Omar. Omar, appreciate you. What's the number we doing call-ins tonight? I'll open the phone line after the super chats, and I'll put it on screen, my boy. So hang tight. World Glass, appreciate you. McMillan or Jawan? I'm going McMillan. I don't trust the Niners at all. Maybe Garendo, I trust a little bit. Probably Kittle, just depends on the situation. But yeah, that's an easy call for me. And he's scored 4 touchdowns in 3 games, man. Thank you for all your wise advice this year. You are the best in the game. Thank you. Thanks to you, we are freaking champions. Christopher, congrats. It's weird a lot of people had their championship week this week. I don't think it's bad, though, because it's like they wanted to keep the same week as always. Week 16 was always championship week before they extended the NFL schedule. And I said the first day that news broke, that it was official, I did say I wonder if teams will sit players like in 2 weeks in a row, week 17 and 18, because the more games you make the schedule, the more likely you'll have distance between teams. So you add another week, and you're going to have further distance between the cellar dweller teams, and you might have teams lock it up earlier than they normally would. Like if you had just 8 games schedule, there's no way a team would sit week 8. They'd just be too close of a race all the way to the end. You go to week 9, a little bit more chance. Week 10, 11, 12. So imagine if you had a 20-week schedule, you literally could have teams that are so far out in front by week 18, they're sitting teams easily the last 2 weeks. So I did always wonder about that, if the teams will sometimes be hampered in week 17 more than we would have expected. So I don't really hate the idea of playing week 16 as the championship week, to be honest. Brett Favre went crazy one day after his dad died. Says Rev. Oh, you're talking about like, you know, when Tank Dell went down and what I said. Okay, I got you. Yeah. You know, that stuff happens all the time. But again, Tank Dell's just, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it lightly. Like, I suffered the same knee injury. I tore my patellar tendon. He dislocated his. Mine was worse than his. Tore my ACL, tore my MCL. So I'm not trying to make light of the injury. It was just Stroud not showing poise in a season where he hasn't shown poise. You know what I mean? Like, that's more of my commentary is like, Stroud has not been poised at all this year. And in that moment, he did not look like the leader of the team. And you can get mad at me all you want and act like I'm a callous person or I don't think crying's okay. It's not what I'm saying. Just like Caleb crying in his mama's lap in the stands is different than just crying behind closed doors, you know, or whatever. It's you're not portraying a strong leader on the field when you're breaking down and you're not showing that you're poised and ready to lead all of your men into war is what you're doing.
Especially because, like, this last year, you know, he was a rookie, so he has some expectations. But once he got rolling, he was, you know, the golden child. People loved him. You know, people thought the world of him. You know, so coming to this year and things aren't going quite right, that's where you find the mettle of the guy and see, you know, what happens when things don't go the right way. And he's kind of failing that right now.
Yeah,
and so that puts a big question mark on the thing.
Yeah, and if he was poised like you're saying, if he was poised all season, had this moment and poised after, it'd be like, whatever, bro. It's just that's the way he deals with stuff, sure. But the fact that he hasn't been poised, he's been completely rattled all year. He hasn't been, doesn't look focused, doesn't look prepared, doesn't look anything. And the funny comments by Slim saying, I guess that Caleb advice didn't age well. And then the other comment saying at least Caleb cried after the game. Those two comments are funny, but can you imagine if Caleb walked up to him after the next game and goes, hey man, you want me to show you how to cry better? I'll give you advice on how you wait until after the game. You talk about your dog, you know, like, remember that? I'll never forget that interview Caleb did when they're like, so how did you feel after losing? And he said, all I want to do is just go home and curl up with my dog. And it's just like, this guy's not leading you to a Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
That is
like Dennis Rodman. Let's give another example just so people can understand what I'm trying to say. Dennis Rodman's behaviors and what he did, he's not leading the team. He's a side piece. Okay, if you're a diva wide receiver, you're doing weird things, you're a running back, you're balling about this, whatever. Okay, it's different. When you're the quarterback and the leader, it's different. When you're the leader of the basketball team, it's different. When you're doing these weird, unprofessional, weird things, and I'm not saying crying's necessarily unprofessional. I'm trying to say like some of the Caleb stuff, you know, at the podium and talking about curling up with his dog. And like, you can say things like that. If Leggett said that, Xavier Leggett, or be like, this guy's hilarious, you know, but he's not leading the entire team into war and battle. So you can think what you want. Let me teach you how to cry on mama's lap. It's a lot cleaner. It comes off a lot more. People are afraid to touch it. They're a lot more afraid to make fun of you because you're with mama. Mama says. All right. Anyway, I mean, I know some people are gonna get really mad at me on this topic, but look, I don't care. This is why. Look, I don't walk on eggshells. I think this world is I think it's getting back to normal though. I think we're edging in the direction of normalcy again. I think we're heading there. We've been walking on these eggshells for a long time, and people were afraid to speak their mind, and I think that's going to potentially change. Appreciate you. What is this? J-Max says, I won thanks to you. Running back early. Yeah, running back smash, bro. We absolutely crushed it with running back. It's so wild how many people were against that. Let's see. 512 near in a non-PPR start, 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Hall, Ford, Spears, Pollard, Rashad White, Garendo, London, Reed, Devontae Smith. We got to wait on the news. I hate to like not fully answer your question because I'd have to give you like 8 different caveats of this injury. If he plays, then play. I'm going Ford and Hall as my 2 RBs. I'm probably going Garendo or Spears in the flex, I imagine. And I think London and Devontae Smith, assuming London plays, are your 2 wide receivers. But I think we gotta attack this as we get close. Oh, you got 1 wide receiver, 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Damn it. I guess Hall and Ford. London, and then we decide on Garendo and Smith later. We gotta weigh that one out, but we need news. We need to know what Garendo's workload's gonna be. It's gonna be a whole bunch of different stuff, bro, that we look at. The difference between squares and not squares. Get mad, lame. So see that. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate you anyway. Brady, you might be talking to somebody else. Okay, see that. Do it live. 131.8 to 131.4 victory. Nice job, bro. Those are always so crazy, those finishes that are like down to the, like a touchdown clearly would put over top. We're talking about like 5 yards, 5 to 10 yard reception. Just a reception. Higbee just throwing out one to add to the waiver board. I guess Higbee is one to put on as well. Yeah. That's a good one, right, Travis? Or he's healthy, right? I mean, I know he had a big play and everybody was hyped up, but like, did he leave the game on his upright?
He had he only had a couple targets, but I think it was his first game back. So
he left upright. Okay. I guess I'll add him. I don't know how much.
Yeah.
Excitement.
Did you put Carter on the running back list? Like, how did it stand with him? Just watching Benson first, and then
I was gonna put him on, and then I didn't.
Yeah,
good.
Someone pointed that out.
Okay, so Carter, I guess he just goes right under Benson. Like, we can't put him above Benson. If Benson doesn't play, then Michael Carter is a pretty good play, assuming he's the only starter. So I'll put him right below Benson. It's a good one. Whoever said that, good job. Okay, Garrett, appreciate you, Garrett Morris. Garrett, we haven't seen you in a while, I don't think. Maybe we have, I don't know. To the finals of the Moon Man League. Thanks, Smitty. Garrett, appreciate you. Nice work, bro. Hopefully we see you in the Mars Man League if you win that one, pal. Who are you going up against? I'll have to look. I have James Conner. Should I mess around with Benson? Yeah, definitely. Or move Bucky from the... move Bucky to the flex. Oh, then you're... Okay, I'd probably go Flowers. Yeah, go Flowers over Ben. I'd grab Benson at a security. Just in case something happens to Flowers and just to block your opponent from getting Benson and starting Benson. But I'd probably lean toward Flowers, bro. And we thought that this week, and he absolutely had a good day. It was a solid performance. I had a gut feeling about JMO, and I had a gut feeling about Flowers, and I pushed them all week because of that. It was a little bit risky. I had a gut feeling about Penix Jr. too, and it didn't work out. But I don't feel that, like, everyone's trying to, the haters, not very many people, but the haters are trying to milk that situation like crazy and say, Smitty, how do you take a lap on Penix? How bad? The Penix calls were all those quarterbacks we decided scored 1 touchdown practically across the board. So it's not like it was that big of a difference. It was Penix Jr. threw for 200 yards, no touchdowns.
The risk was built in. With if running backs got a lot of carries, you kept saying that. If the running backs get 35 carries, the ceiling might not be as high as we wanted.
But for people that think, built in. And anybody that didn't watch the game thinks he did bad, he did absolutely amazing. Considering. Smitty, you're the man. I've followed NFL since I came out my mother's womb, and you have won me just north of $60K this season. Jeez. Yeah, well, he's starting to. He's got a $20 hauler right here. I'm on a 9-game win streak and advance to the chip. Gibbs, Jacobs, Chase, Jamar Chase, Kupp, and Bucky. I have a feeling Kupp might deliver this week. I know I said that last week. That's why I took accountability. I didn't have very many big glaring misses. I put my misses up here, the ones I felt like I hammered home a lot. And I don't feel bad about Hurts or Nakua. Nakua is a monster, and he had a bad game. Hurts got a concussion. What am I going to do? But these were two that I hammered home. They got hurt. It is what it is. I came in strong last week, and I said Kupp had a wide-open 55, 60-yard touchdown bomb, waving his hand in the air. I'm wide open. No one was around him, and Stafford completely missed him. And I thought, okay, I rewatched a lot of the footage, and he looked fine. He was moving all over the field, crossing over the middle of the field like he normally does. It was just a bad game between him and Stafford. So I doubled down, and he didn't deliver this week. Either did Nakua, though. They ran the hell out of Kyron Williams. 122 and a tutty.
Mashed potatoes!
So, I have a feeling, my boy, that Kupp's going to come through this week. Stafford didn't come through. Puka didn't come through. Neither Kupp or Puka came through last week because Stafford didn't come through. Kyron came through. I think this week we're going to see a little bit of a different situation. That Rams game is, we said it was, where did we say it was? It was Saturday, right? The Rams play, no. Yeah, Saturday, right? The Rams play Saturday at home, 6 p.m. This is the last of the 3 games on Saturday, December 28th. This is the evening game. Arizona Cardinals at the Rams. The Arizona Cardinals are playing like dog water. And I think there's a really good chance that the entire Rams team explodes. There's a 35, 40-point score on that side of the fence. The reason I'm saying all this is because I do feel like Kupp is going to rebound, my boy, and I think your team's going to continue on the march. So congrats on the 60K. Thank you for the $20 hauler. Joe, stock is up.
Stock on the rise.
Let me see if I can hit these other ones real quick, guys, and I'll go back to the phone line. I apologize for the wait. 3 more. Going to the championship. Got the Moonman JD5 H-Hand Gibbs Ford for the flex. Jamar Chase, thanks so much for helping me. You are Mr. Himothy. Thank you to the Marison family. Appreciate you very much for the super chat. Thank you. Joe says, I think of fantasy like trading stocks. Kupp is due. Yeah. Especially when you trade. Yeah. When you trade, you're like, okay, is the value at the floor, was up 22 going against Jacobs. What a victory. Glad they said Jacobs was okay. Jesse, nice work. Miss Smitty needed Love and Jacobs both to have bad games to win her game. And they did have mediocre days for the most part, and it was just it was a touch too much. It was like 4 or 5 points or something like that. It sucked. She was not happy. And she takes it hard. She doesn't want to play anymore. She doesn't like the rush, the adrenaline. She hates it. She's like, when she's projected to win and it's like 70% likely she's going to win, she's like, I'm going to lose. I'm not even 100% projected anymore. It says I'm only 70. And I'm like, well, that's good. Saying you're 70% chance, like, I don't care. My players are all going to suck. They're all going to die. She thinks it's all going to fall apart. Lost my semifinal by 2 points. I'm sorry to hear that. My opponent had Achan. He definitely did a number on a lot of people. That last play, that TD run sunk me. My 49ers did me dirty. Thanks for your hard work. I'll be in here early next season. Appreciate you. Now, B for 3, I'm not saying you have to stay, but we get a lot of comments where people say, see you next year. Thanks, guy. Like, we're not going anywhere. And B for 3, if you need a little break, I understand. I'm not saying don't take it if that's the way you work and you rejuvenate. But for those of you that expect this channel to, like, disappear or go dormant, we only dial it up. There's no break. There's 0 break. On New Year's Eve, I'm literally going live to drop rookie content. I'm writing rookie content. The ball drops. I'm in the studio watching the ball drop. The family's asleep, and I'm just typing away with rookie content. So don't think that this is slowing down by any means.
Good to remind people because that happened to me the first year I watched you. I didn't even realize you did the off season, and like just because I was used to other places, I was just like, oh, see you next year, and didn't come back till the next year. And I think like a little after Christmas, I saw you were on, and I was like, oh, nice, So
Yeah, it's
all year long.
I mean, like I produce more content in the off season by far. So like January is bigger than August on this channel, in terms of like content and breaking news streams and all that stuff. Blackbeard says off-season content is fire here. Thank you, pal. Keith, appreciate
Yeah, that's
you.
where you made your J5 call last January.
Yeah.
When that flag.
And let's just ask the chat. A little trivia game. Those that were here at 8 p.m. Be quiet, please. Be silent. Don't ruin the answer. But could everybody in the live chat please vote? Does anybody know where JD5 played college football? If you already answered this or you were in here at the 8 p.m. show, don't answer. Don't give it away. Please guess. Take your best guess. Where did JD5 play college football? Does anybody in here actually know the answer? Bijan H. Hand, Chase Brown, JSN Baker. Let's win this. Good job, bro. Arizona State, wrong. LSU, wrong, Rob. Ron Smith, LSU, wrong.
Nope.
Wrong.
JD5 is him, and now all can see. He graduated from Himothy University. Unleash the Washington Kraken. JD5 to Saturn
And beyond.
to Saturn
And beyond.
Supernova.
Let's see here. What we got someone that's new to the chat. We got someone let's see here. VC999. You said Penix Jr. was better prepared QB than JD5, so glad you finally came around. Laughing emoji. You got me, VC. You just embarrassed yourself in front of everybody, bro. In front of everybody.
Like you said.
Oh man, your mom's embarrassed you on that comment. That's a wild comment. That's like going to Thomas Edison and saying, I finally decided to use electricity, huh? Oh, anyway. Volume 2. Was the volume on that too high? I'm sorry, guys. I'll turn it down a little bit. Steven from Iowa, you're live with Rock Out and your boy Travis. Hello? You know I love you, big dog, says VC, but VC, you still embarrassed yourself. Like badly. It doesn't matter if you love me, you still embarrass yourself. Okay, where's Steve? Steven, you're live.
What's going on, Smitty? Appreciate all the hard work you've done, man. Turned
Yeah.
my season around from 3-6 to finish out 8-6, and now I'm heading into the championship. So super excited for that. I've got some questions going on. Obviously, not too major concerns, but I do have some injuries. So I know Josh Allen is questionable. Hopefully he'll get to go against the Jets. I'm sure that's probably nothing to freak out over. And then I also have James Conner.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say Josh Allen's gonna be fine. James Conner, I don't know. Cardinals are eliminated, bro. So they might pull a whole, let's rest him or maybe not. I don't know. Like, why would you play if you're banged up and you're out of it? You know what I mean? The Niners are dialing back everything. Their entire offensive line is like third and fourth string. I think they will play Garendo, though, because they want to see if they need to draft another running back or where.
Okay. I don't have Trey Benson or any of the cuffs. Really, if I did go pick up a Cardinals back, it would probably be DJ Dallas or Michael Carter. So I could replace him for James Conner, or I do have, Kendre Miller on the bench as well. Do you see him coming back next week to start?
I'm starting Conner or Benson. And if Benson doesn't play, let's say Michael Carter starts, I'm starting Michael Carter over Kendre Miller. But you got to make sure you pick up the right player, bro. You just got to stay on top of it.
Yeah, and they're all picked out pretty well in my free agency, so I'm getting a little bit worried if James Conner doesn't play. Last question, my man. Don't mean to keep you too long. Going forward, then. Is that kind of the same with MHJ then, because I deal with wide receiver issues just between, J-Mo. I got Puka, but he's never in question to start. So really J-Mo, MHJ, or DK. And J-Mo went off
J-Mo,
last week.
MHJ. Why would you sit? Did you sit J-Mo this week?
No, I started him.
Okay, so say thank you and put him back in. I don't know why you would even consider sitting him this week. What on earth, is going on there? DK's solid, but he's solid. He's not. J-Mo is electric. And he can have up and down games, but bro, you can't sit him after that. 104. He does tend to have on and off, an on and off switch that gets pressed every other game, but you can't. You just got to roll him out there, bro. And make sure Garendo didn't get cut. Look at the waiver board. Screenshot this when it shows up on. And if you need to search for it, 1 hour and 21 minutes and 25 seconds into the show. Screenshot the waiver board, comb through the rankings, make sure Charbonnet didn't get dropped, make sure Garendo didn't get dropped, make sure Spears and Ford and Bigsby. I know you're saying that waivers are pretty combed through, but make sure someone didn't get dropped, that you're not registering or something. But I'm starting one of them, the starting Cardinal running back over Kendre.
Okay. Yeah, that would probably be DJ Dallas from the waivers. That's next in line because all the others are picked over. But I do have Tank Bigsby and also Kareem Hunt, top of the available running backs.
Yeah, those are much better options than I think Michael Carter or DJ Dallas, who I did put on the board as a good one. I forgot DJ Dallas, but I don't know where I'd rank him. If he was starting, and this is assuming he's starting or he's in a position to get good carries, he would probably still go below Gus Bus. Probably right next to Kareem Hunt, probably right next to or below Algier. I just don't know if DJ Dallas was the only starter, then maybe I would move him above those guys because of the sheer volume he was going to get. But my guess is it's going to be cloudy as hell. Unless Benson's ruled the starter and he's going to go. But we'll find out on Connor.
What I'm thinking. So I may make a move then just for Tank and, Kareem Hunt and see what's going on with the Cardinals. As far as my wide receiver, 1 and 2, I got those locked in, with J-Mo and Puka. So in that flex, would you rather run DK, Thielen, or MHJ?
DK. Pretty easily. He scored last week. He looked good. He just didn't look, he didn't look like he was dominating the whole time, but he had a dominating moment, and that's all I needed to see to put him in the driver's seat in that situation. All right, bro.
Just needs to look his way more, and I feel like he'll be good. But,
all right, bro. Got to go.
All right, my man.
Appreciate you
appreciate it, and good luck, guys.
All right, Kevin, you're live.
What's going on, Smitty? I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro. Is this Coach Campbell?
No, it's not Coach Campbell. It's Jake Brown.
It sounds like Coach Campbell, bro. Can you tell me? Can you give me a game? Can you give me a game ball, bro? This has been my.
What's up?
Can you give me a game ball, bro? As Coach Campbell? you say.
I'd do that. I'll be down. Is Betty on the line?
No, but go ahead. Let me pretend. All right, go ahead. Hit me with it. Give me a game ball. Yes, coach.
All right, here's my game ball question. So I'm trying to figure out this flex for this week. So I'm in the second week of a championship. I'm up 22 points. So this is the final week. So I've got Holland, Chase Brown at running back, A.J. Brown, Brian Thomas. No debates there. But I've got two flexes I got to play out of Sharps, Cortland Sutton, Jacoby Myers, and Marvin Harrison Jr. I got to select two of those in two flex spots.
Flex two of them. Say them one more time. Charbonnet, Jacoby Myers,
Cortland
and who else?
Sutton.
Jacoby Myers and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay, so Sharbs is playing. He's like a tier above everybody. Not saying that there isn't some ambiguity around why they didn't even use him last week. Is he, too injured to even? There's a lot going into that. We'll obviously attack the news with it and know whether we need to keep him here. But Sharp starting, easy call. He's locked in as one. Sutton, Myers, and MHJ. You got to go Sutton, I think. As of late,
especially against Cincy.
Yeah, the matchup is good. And then let's say you got to roll with no Charbonnet, which honestly, I think you're going to be able to use him. I think he's going to play. He's going to start.
I do too.
Sutton, just because he didn't have an outstanding game in Week 16, he still did very well the week prior. 32 yards and a touchdown. 102 yards the game before that. Literally, targets completely greenlit all the way down the game log. Receiving yards completely greenlit all the way down the game log. Greenlit being that he got 70 yards or more in every single game.
Yeah.
100 yards, 122, 70, 78, 97, 102. That is back to back into the bye week, week 14. Then came into a 32 one touchdown game in week 15, and then just had his most recent 5 for 50, which is 10 points and salvageable in PPR. Sutton's locked in for me, and Charbonnet, and I'm not even hesitating. If he doesn't play or start Charbonnet, I think we just have to take this question into the week later. A lot of people are going to say Myers. A lot of people like Myers. He's got a really big fan club, but be careful with that. He has no touchdowns in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games. He has 2 on the year. He has had 41, 59, and 67 yards in his last 3 games. So there's not a lot recently that I like about that situation. So I'd be tempted to give MHJ the nod off sheer upside, but Myers would be safer. I would say that Myers is safer. This is much higher risk. Think JMO last week over, let's say, DKs and Debo's. There was maybe some higher risk given he's the number 2 for his team, but he plays on an amazing offense. JMO had high risk and high upside. He smashed. Penix Jr. had high risk, high upside, high risk, and he didn't smash. So understand that this could fail you. This MHJ call could fail you, but I hope you don't even need to use it. If it's me, Sharp, Sutton, final answer, not even close. All right, got to go, Kevin. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Man, Kevin really punted the opportunity to become Coach Campbell, fake Coach Campbell on the channel. We got fake Patty Mahomes that calls in, who hasn't called in a while, and he's a show favorite. And I basically gave him a layup, to be
a promo with Coach Dan Campbell.
He punted that one.
Right in his lap.
25 rookie running back thoughts on. Look, we're gonna get into that. I'm not gonna reveal any of my rookie running back, wide receiver, quarterback, or tight end rankings yet. I will tell you my top 2 my top 2 quarterbacks are Cam Ward and Shador. That's no surprise. Which one, you'll find out. Genty's my clear top running back, but I got some surprises in the 2 to 5 range. And my wide receiver, Travis Hunter, without a hesitation. But we'll get into the middle of the pack type stuff around Christmas. So a couple days, bro. We're getting close. Vamp says I'm facing a buzzsaw in that championship. JJ times Chase times Gibbs times H-Hand. Woo! That guy watches the channel, bro. Joe, appreciate you again with the super chat. Ray G, appreciate you, my boy. And Genty's going to be great, Joe. He's going to be so good, and he's probably landing in a great spot because no team's taking him in the top 8. He'll go in the top 8. No team's taking him in the top 8 or top 10 at least that doesn't have dire need at the position. Like, he's not going over really cloudy situation.
Not the Bears.
It's not the Bears.
The Bears.
That's my big concern. So Genty's going to one of these teams most likely. He's going to one of these teams. I don't want it to be Chicago. It won't be the Jets. It won't be it could be. I mean, you never know what Miami Mike will do. I mean, you guys might think it's impossible, but he's weird about that. But I don't think he'll fall to 13 anyway. So Giants will take a quarterback. New England, they got Stevenson on a new deal. I don't think they're looking in that direction. They're going to go wide receiver or trade down. They'll trade down more than anything. But if they end up leveling out around 4, 5, 6, they might keep it and go wide receiver. Ted McMillan, or they could go with Travis Hunter. Jaguars, I don't think they're going to go RB. You've never. Genty feels like a good spot there, though. Like, it's not like Bigsby or Etienne have blown away expectations. And the one thing about Genty is it doesn't matter. He's Adrian Peterson, and any team that said, "Well, we have an RB," they live to regret it till the end of time. You don't just pass on Genty because you have an RB. Like even Stevenson, I would say, but I just don't think New England will do it. But like Genty is a Adrian Peterson, a Barry Sanders, a once in a lifetime, not once in a 10-year period, once in a lifetime type of player potentially. And you've got Etienne and Bigsby. They're not anything to write home about comparatively. So Jacksonville should look at it. Tennessee should look at it 100%. Cleveland is my favorite dark horse spot. I think LV's going to go QB. But could I see him trading back up? I would, to get another. Carolina just extended Hubbard. They just drafted Jonathan Brooks, who isn't going to be healthy, but they still have the capital. Chicago, oh God, they got to go offensive line. They have if they go RB here.
Yeah, they have to.
Ryan Poles should be walked out immediately. He should be walked out immediately. San Francisco, bro. I don't think he'll fall to 11, but if he did,
no,
I mean,
probably
Shanahan
not,
probably won't. They got so many
Probably.
offensive line and defensive line concerns. That'd be moronic, because Genty, you probably wouldn't even use him fully because of the play. Dallas and Cleveland are my favorite landing spots. I just don't think Dallas will get him at 12, so they got to trade up a bit, or the world is shocked and Genty falls to 12, 13, something like that. The Bengals, I hope not.
He could.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. All right, let me hit these two. Ray G says, you think the Cards start Benson if he comes back healthy? Absolutely, if he's healthy. Well, I shouldn't say absolutely. You never know. The Cardinals are. But, I mean, if Connor can't play and they shut him down, which they should, I think Benson,
I guess
comes back.
There's a risk of it being like the Braylon Allen Davis game there where they split.
Yeah. And Patrick Taylor just, thinking he was going to get work and didn't. Need a running back too. Patrick Taylor, Tank Bigsby, Kendra Miller are on my team. Benson on waivers. My opponent has Connor. Keep Benson just to play defense, but I would strongly consider Bigsby. He's a safe play, but if Benson's the lone starter and there's like a lot of support behind him in the news, then I think I'd go Benson. But I think we got to wait and see, bro. I don't think we can answer that question right now. All right, let me go over to Marco. You're live, Marco. Then over to Cody. Marco, you're live.
Yo, Smitty. I made it in by the skin of my balls.
At a boy.
I won by .6. Green Bay held it down for me. Well, I guess the Saints did too because they didn't score, but it was bittersweet.
Congrats, bro.
Bittersweet, yeah. I just want to say thanks for all the advice this year.
Thank you for thanking me for thanking you about thanking me, pal. Appreciate you.
One more week.
One more. Do it live. All right, later, bro.
One more. Thank you. All
right. Marco, appreciate you. Cody, go ahead. You're live. Then Mitch.
Yo, what's up, Smitty?
Yeah.
Made it to the championship week. Congrats. I absolutely limped in because I have Hurts, Connor, and Kamara. so I'm real banged up. So I'm going to have to go to my backups. But out of these running backs, I have Sharps, I got Bucky, and I also have Warren and Benson. So hopefully Benson comes back. But if Benson is healthy, like you were just talking about, Bucky is locked in. Who should I start alongside of him? Sharps, if he's healthy?
Or who?
Yeah.
Or Warren or Benson.
Yeah, Sharps. I mean, look, Sharps is a top 6 to 10 play if he's starting, bro. You know, we've seen that before.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, nothing's a
So,
lock.
and I also have Goff as my backup, so I'm good at the QB. So I was just really worried about those running backs, and then potentially who I'm starting at receiver as well.
Yeah. Who's your receiver? What's your receiver dilemma?
So this week I played Lamb and Smith. Smith obviously didn't have too great of a game. It wasn't terrible. And I'm hoping Lamb plays the full workload. But I also have Williams and McMillan. And I also have Thielen. So which three? I'm pretty sure if Lamb plays, I'm going to lock him in. And J-Mo for sure is locked in. But who should I play as my third wide receiver?
So name those three.
Between Thielen and McMillan.
Dallas is pretty good.
McMillan. Between Thielen and McMillan is McMillan, if that's the question. You know.
Okay.
I mean,
so
McMillan's like.
Lamb,
Keep in mind, McMillan's not a flash in the pan, and McMillan's not a Kine. Like I liked Akine. You know, admittedly, he was a guy you ride that train till the train derails, and then you run away from it. You don't go back and say, oh, it'll get back on the track. They'll rebuild. Like Akine was a wild little ride, but McMillan is not that. McMillan is like the real deal. McMillan is so good they might not re-sign unrestricted free agent Chris Godwin, or is he restricted free agent?
Yeah.
So Godwin might go elsewhere because of McMillan's, progress. But McMillan was also a first-round caliber wide receiver that we talked up a ton on this channel. And in the offseason, I said several times, like a month, I said that if McMillan was drafted to Cincy, the whole world will be drooling over him like they were Burton. And people a lot of times would say, no, you're crazy. Like McMillan is that good. And McMillan is now... He's not a flash in the pan, bro. He's a really good player.
Yeah, that's why I snagged him. But I don't think he's cracking Devontae Smith or J-Mo's spot right now. So
not J-Mo,
I just wanted to ask that.
Devontae Smith maybe. I mean, I don't think that's crazy.
I was going to ask you that.
Not sitting J-Mo though.
Devontae Smith against Dallas is a good matchup. Who's McMillan against? He's against Carolina. So
they're playing. Yeah, Carolina.
Yeah.
I guess we'll come back to this when the week is closer. I also wanted to say Atlanta absolutely saved me on defense this week, so I'm looking up for another plus matchup for my defense, and then also trying to see which kicker might have that time to shine for next week. What do you think about Chad Ryland with the offense banged up?
I guess. I mean, kickers are kind of crapshoot, bro. That's why I don't provide.
It's hard to predict, but I mean, when you have some of these kickers and defenses putting up 20+ points, I mean, you're gonna win your league if you got defenses and kickers who can do that. It's just hard to hit.
You got to go with the averages, bro. You got to try and find out what if there's a kicker that's been and look at short-term averages, not just the season average. Like in the last 5 games, this kicker's been the top kicker in top 5 kicker, and he's ranking 15. And it's like, okay, he's trending is a big enough, string of games that the thing about kickers is they're so much like baseball. Their average is kind of their average once they get into a certain like ballpark, because the offense is going to play very similar. Like, if a certain coach likes to go for it on 4th down over and over and over again, and he kicks less, you're gonna see that over the course of many games in a row. You're gonna if the offense like the Chiefs struggles to score, you're gonna get less extra points. You're gonna get a consistency with that. So take some weird dives into like sort by week, weeks, the last like 6 weeks, and see if there's someone trending higher that's available, and then go with that.
So you're right though, Smitty. Last 4 weeks, Ryland has the third most points.
There you go.
Another guy would be Lutz has the fourth most points in the last 4 weeks. They're both available in a ton of leagues.
Yeah. I think
So
that.
Ryland and Lutz.
Yeah, and I brought him up. I brought him up specifically because with Connor being out and, Trey McBride had a weird off game. I mean, if the Cardinals offense is sputtering, they still might get yards, but they could rely on that field goal kicker a little bit more. So that's why I brought him up.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, definitely look at it. Try and find, like Travis said, try and find another player that's doing the exact same thing. That maybe there's one that's a little bit better even. Just take a look at the last 4 or 5 games. Look at 4 games.
I appreciate y'all.
Look at 5 games. Look at 6 games, and I think something will pop out. All right, later, bro.
Later.
Cody, you're live. Oh, that was Cody. Mitch, you're live.
Yo, Smitty, how you doing?
What's up?
Oh, man, I was in the panic chamber, but I ended up coming back and winning my matchup by 3 points, 166 to 163.
Congrats, bro.
Green Bay. I was the one who had Green Bay's defense versus Jacobs. Now I'm in the championship. Now I have a question for my flex. Who would you start between Hall, Higgins, Ford, or Charbonnet? I mean, obviously Charbonnet plays, but
yeah, if he starts, I go Charbs. Hall, Ford, and Charbonnet, and who? Who's the other one?
Higgins.
Higgins, man.
Higgins against Denver next week. I don't know who he'll get for coverage, but
I'd still find it hard to bench Breece Hall. Like the way I look at Breece Hall, and you can say that this is the wrong way to look at it or whatever. This is how I'm dealing with it. Everybody deals with, this a different way. But the way I look at it, at Buffalo, it's rough though.
Well, they've given up points to running backs.
What's the weather though going to look like, and will they pound the rock successfully? I don't know, or they be down. You know what I mean? Like will they be like the Saints and get lost in the weather as Buffalo plays in their back? Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess essentially New York is Houston. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I'm going to stick to what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that I think I look at next year. I don't think I play Breece Hall as if I'm scared to draft him in the first round right now. That is next year. I'll address that next year. I drafted him where I drafted him. He's got the upside to close it out. I feel like sitting him would be something I couldn't recover from mentally for months if he went out and had 150 yards and a touchdown. Whereas Higgins is hit and miss. I don't think you lose sleep over that. I would start Charbonnet if he's starting, but I'm going to start Breece Hall if he's not. I just think I'm ready to live and die by Breece Hall in the leagues where I have Breece Hall.
So the weather in Buffalo Sunday
Charbonnet
is 50 degrees and rain, just to let you know.
50 degrees and rain. Yeah. I mean, we can't say the Jets aren't used to weather. It's just I think Buffalo Bills are born for it. I don't know that this Jet team is. I like as much as the New York Jets should be used to weather, similar to Buffalo. They're right next door. It's still. I don't think this team is. I don't think this team is equipped to be as good as Buffalo is in bad weather, and I think Buffalo gets out to an early lead. And there's some risk that Breece Hall gets phased out. But if Aaron Rodgers checks down to him, he still rips off a big run. I think he could be okay. But I don't know. I think hopefully Charbonnet starts as the lone starter and you have a nice, clear decision.
Yeah. Okay. So if Charbonnet starts, then it's Charbonnet definitely.
Yeah. If not, I go Breece Hall. But can we wait till later in the week? Bring it back to us, bro. Let's decide a little later. We got some days.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
No problem.
I want to think on that one. Let's let some dust settle. All right, later. We might hear some news like Breece Hall's.
Thank you.
Yeah. We might hear some news like Breece Hall's going to, get a full workload, or not, and that will help us, I think, make a decision. Let me hit this super chat, then over to Rock Out. Made it to the dance 12 team, full PPR. My JD5, Gibbs, Jacobs, Chase Brown, Dowdle, AJB, Ladd, Kelsey, Kyler versus Kyler, Bijan, Barkley, Connor, St. Brown, Flowers, Jones. That's a good team too. Yeah, you know what it comes down to? AJB, Ladd, and Kelsey versus Flowers, Jonu, Laporta. Like that's where I think the battle is. It's gonna be close, OG. I mean, neck and neck, bro. 125 to 129. I don't know who wins, but that just came to me, bro. Rock out, you're live. Hello? Hello? Rock out?
Rock out? Did we lose you?
He fell asleep.
Uh-oh.
Travis, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just so if I make a move to pick up one of the tight ends off the waiver wire, would you? I have to drop. Well, I guess I can drop one of my defenses. But besides that, would you rather drop Pitts, Strange, or Vidal? I'm not going to play Vidal, and I don't picture my opponent playing him.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Denver.
Would you say just drop him?
I mean, or no, it's New England, right? New England matchup.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a decent matchup, but
I mean, he only had 5 carries last week, 3 carries the week before that.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not worried about him.
I can't imagine. Since it's a championship, the person would have to start him out of the blue. So he's probably the way to go, right? And just hold the tight end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. Later. Rock
Talk to you
out.
later. Bye.
Yeah. Rock out? Are you there? Hello? Hello? Rock out? Rock out. Sweet dreams, young prince. We appreciate you. All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate all your super chats. Go get Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrowed this weekend. Jamar Chase, Chase Brown, Joe Burrow. Best pancake stack in the biz, bro. People are getting
the stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
Hi, my name is B. John Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring touchdowns.
Travis said fake Dan Campbell blew his chance, played it safe, thought he'd go for it like usual. Yeah, Dan Campbell really blew it. Fake Dan Campbell. We asked him to give me a game ball, and he just said, all right, now. Where's fake Patty Mahomes? I'd love to get fake Patty Mahomes and fake Dan Campbell on the phone at the same time and just have them argue. That'd be unbelievable. Or get fake Dan Campbell to give fake Patty Mahomes a game ball. That'd be awesome. See you tomorrow.